Hello everybody, welcome back to another sports podcast. It's exactly what the world needs, is another sports podcast. We're the Sweaty Trio, and we are glad to be back. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a sports heavy hitter on the podcast. After 16 years in the business, he's been everywhere from Super Bowls to Grey Cups, Stanley Cups, Olympics, and more. If it's a big game, chances are this dude's on the sidelines dodging players and asking the best questions. He's a Maritimer, a first-generation Canadian, and he's got stories for days. Please welcome the man who's seen more locker rooms than Gatorade bottles, Arash Madani.
What an intro. What an intro. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come to the locker room and get sweaty with the boys.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's quite the man cave.
So, you're actually the first, I'll say, East Asian that we've had on the podcast that I can relate to a little more. I'm a Lebanese.
Okay.
And so I would love to ask how your Persian roots kind of shape the way you look at sports and storytelling. Because I think my Lebanese heritage kind of helps the way that I shape it.
I don't know. I guess for my father, it's like, okay, they lose a game, fire the coach. So I'm like, well, I basically learned from my dad, okay, that's not the way you go about things.
Sure.
But definitely grew up with sports in the house.
Nice.
All the time. My mom was a competitive tennis player in college. And I think I probably got a lot of my interest in tennis from her. And then football, basketball was on in the house all the time.
Nice.
So that's what I kind of grew up with. So yeah, I don't know how much of the heritage part. I will say this. I think part of the reason I enjoy covering Canadian sports and like national teams and Olympics and all that kind of stuff and like presenting not pro sports but everything else through a Canadian lens is because one of my first sports memories was World Cup '86 and my dad getting everybody red shirts saying like, this is important, we're Canadian, we're all like, we're in. And I'm like, okay. And like my parents always instilled in me like the Olympics is really important, there's nothing more important than representing your country at an Olympic Games. I'm like, okay. So I guess like through that lens, that's a big part of it. So one of my favorite things I ever had the opportunity to cover was going to Asia for a month for the FIBA World Cup, summer of 23, when Shea and all those guys, Dylan Brooks, when they punched their ticket to the Olympics, won a bronze at the World Cup. That was really cool to be part of that entire run.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, because me, as a Lebanese guy, my dad can't stay committed to sports. He would love the Cowboys growing up, which is crazy as me becoming an Eagles fan organically later in life.
Wow.
But yeah, right? But he was kind of like the same thing. They lose a game, fire the coach. But then it got to a point where, like, obviously the Cowboys, the biggest disappointment in sports, kind of just gave it up. He was like, no more. And so I kind of had to find my own way to find sports. But I
always equate the Cowboys with the Leafs.
Yep.
The England national soccer team.
Yep.
I gotta say, I always had Notre Dame football in that mix too, but I think they're out. Like they got to the national championship game last year. They're within one unbelievable Jeremiah Smith catch from maybe doing it.
Having the title. Yeah.
Their curse is over.
maybe
they're getting there.
Although A&M had something to say about that on Saturday, right? Yeah.
What are you doing now? What's going on with you?
Man, so this is free agency right now. Like, so just kind of talking to everybody out there. You name a media outlet on this continent, I've probably chatted with them over the last 6 months. So just kind of trying to figure out next steps. Hosting a lot of like corporate conferences, moderating panels, emceeing events. I'm headed tomorrow to Nova Scotia. I grew up there. The Event Atlantic Business Summit is there, so I'm going to go do that for a few days.
Very nice.
Next week I'm headed to Denver, hosting a day-long event with CFOs, moderating panels with them, kind of discussing things. What I've learned is there are a lot of relatable skills between the broadcast business and the corporate world.
Yeah.
A lot of relatable things between the locker room and the boardroom. Just worked for Tennis Canada this summer on the tournament and got a few things kind of popping on the horizon, so looking forward to that.
Very cool. You can take this opportunity to tell people where they can find you. We will just get that shouted out again.
Sure. On X at Arash Madani, IG Arash Madani _ where Ty tracked me down and stalked me to make sure that I came here tonight.
All over you, man.
Yeah, didn't stop. I admire the tenacity. That's why I'm here. People are hungry. People are wanted. I have a lot of time for it. Also, for this football season, teamed up with Doug Flutie and Milt Stiegel. We're doing a weekly
Amazing.
NFL show. You can find us on, it's called Flutie versus Stiegel. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube. That's powered by Bodog. And also for the entire Jays postseason run, through the end of the postseason, I'll be doing some thoughts, analysis on the Jays and on MLB, powered by Bodog on my socials.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the Jays, I will ask you this.
Yes.
Huge Jays fan.
Sure.
Love the Blue Jays. Amazing to see. I mean, I'm a 96, so I didn't grow up with the World Series, but the 15-16 run was amazing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments, and I watched it again this morning before we came here, was my name is Munenori Kawasaki, and I am Japanese. What was going through your mind?
My name is Munenori Kawasaki. I'm from Japan.
Oh, I'm from Japan.
I am Japanese.
How cool was that? How fun was that?
That might be one of the most viral, most memorable MLB interviews.
He was awesome, man.
Here's what you got to understand about that whole thing. Up until 60 to 90 seconds before that interview, the plan was that I was going to interview Adam Jones of the Orioles. Baltimore was leading the game. The game was pretty much over. It's 2 outs in the 9th inning. I'm standing in the first base camera well. In those days, even if the opponents won, we did walk-off interviews with the opponent. They don't do that anymore. So I'm standing next to the Orioles PR guy. I'm chatting with the Orioles sideline reporter. All right, who are you going to get? Okay, I'll get Jones then because the Orioles sideline reporter is going to get somebody else. And then all of a sudden, Kawasaki with the walk-off. And so I leave the camera well. I'm walking towards the Jays dugout behind home plate. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, fuck. What am I going to do? The dude doesn't speak English. And he just hit the walk-off, and the place is going crazy. And I'm like, oh, my God. So I'm like, okay, I'll get DeRosa. Because DeRosa earlier that day just said, look, I don't know what he's saying all the time, but he gives a lift to this team. I'm like, DeRosa's good, blah, blah, blah. So talking to DeRosa, and that's how I set up the first question. I'm like, Mark, you said, Munenori Kawasaki, I don't know what he's saying all the time, but he gives a lift to this team. He certainly did today. And then Mooney peeks his head from underneath the steps from the dugout out, almost like, like a dog just kind of coming out. He was like, get out of here. This is his interview. And that's when Kawasaki did his thing and blah, blah, blah. And then when it was all over, I'm like, what just happened? Like 3 minutes ago, I was expecting Adam Jones, and then this just all unfolded. So the funny part, the epilogue to that story was, 5 years later. We were at Dodger Stadium. It's the postseason. It's October, and it's a hot-ass day, and we're getting all set up. I finished doing an interview, and I kind of look over to my right, and there's Mark DeRosa. And he said, I never did thank you for getting my break into the TV business, because he's with MLB Network now, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, the Kawasaki interview. And I'm like, oh, my God.
You're welcome. You owe me now.
Exactly. Hey, Mark, let's repay the favor here, bro.
At Mark DeRosa.
Right.
So we all know Canadians love hockey and they love baseball. But I want to ask you, as someone who's been in the business, what sport do you see growing more out of the American sports that are coming over the border? That being football and basketball. And I guess the two moments that we can really coin as like the biggest growth for these sports in Ontario and Canada as a whole would be Raptors winning the finals. And I guess the NFL just now is growing it.
There's a good handful of Canadian NFL players.
Yeah, we have Chase
But
Brown.
I don't think that matters for Canadian audiences.
No?
I really don't. Like, if you... Like, you're an Eagles fan?
Yeah.
You're a Bills fan, I'm assuming?
Steelers.
Right. Do you care if there's a Canadian on your team or not?
Josh Palmer's pretty cool on the Bills.
It's great because he's a good player. But if Josh Palmer were not from Canada and they added him to your roster...
I would still be just as a sight.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe that the NFL is the biggest league in Canada.
Yeah?
And what kind of it's not just Super Bowl, even though Super Bowl is the most watched sporting event in the country.
Yeah.
Last football season, on a Thursday night, I'm a Vikings fan, right? So the Vikes are playing the Rams on a Thursday night, and the Leafs are playing the St. Louis Blues. Same night, head to head. And it's not like it's Bills KC or Philly versus Dallas or Pittsburgh Baltimore. It's the Vikings and the Rams. Like, who in Canada gives a shit, right? Other than
Everyone, apparently.
and it fully outdrew the Leaf game.
Yeah. Yeah, we asked, I forget who it actually was on the podcast, but we were saying, like, what can TSN and all these networks do to get the average person to tune into, like, a Columbus and Ottawa game? Like, the NHL is dying in terms of those small market games, versus the NFL is the only market where you're watching every single game, no matter what it is, because...
Yeah, but I would say it's dying. I don't think anyone cared to begin with.
Yeah.
Hockey and baseball and probably basketball, though basketball with star power, it's a little different. But, okay, so if tomorrow night it's KC versus Baltimore in football, it's the game.
Yeah, everyone's dropping what you're doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
What if the Royals are playing the Orioles?
You're not watching that game.
In the ALCS. No one cares. Baseball has become such a regional sport. Like, even the Yankees-Dodgers World Series, which is baseball's dream, is not coming close. I don't know, man. Like, did any market, did Columbus versus Ottawa ever matter before the NFL became what it was?
It's a good point. You're right. No one's watching those, like, these are small
when you have 82 game seasons, 162 game seasons, games just don't matter the way they
down.
do.
Yeah,
right.
That's a good point.
And look, Steph Curry moves the needle. LeBron moves the needle. Shea now moves the needle in NBA. But still, a lot of nights, even with them, it's a tough sell to get anybody to watch.
Yeah, even I think you might have brought this up. Maybe it was the first week of preseason. The Hall of Fame game, I think it was Chargers and whoever, the first preseason game of this year, outdrew Game 7 of the finals, which is kind of nuts. Like,
yeah, that is crazy.
Excited for football to come back.
Right.
And then they just didn't watch the NBA finals. And so, it is interesting to see.
It's very regionalized outside of the NFL.
And a lot of the TV deals are structured like that in baseball specifically, no? In terms of marketing. Like, they have Sunday Night Baseball and they do the Apple TV broadcast, but everyone
Fox
is
has
regionally... but like,
games.
Like, no one's watching Sportsnet in the U.S. No one's watching NESN in, Colorado. No one's watching Yes Network in...
Here's the thing. If the Giants played the Chargers in the Super Bowl, New York, LA, it probably does less of a number than if it's Buffalo versus, I'll just say Philadelphia. Like, what the NFL's done an amazing job of is that market size doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. People are watching regardless.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
No, absolutely. So I'd love to ask, with the NHL just recently announced that, I think it's 2027, they're getting a 84-game season.
Yeah.
So adding 2 games, do you think that's a bad move for the NHL in terms of
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter? Won't change?
What do you think? I mean...
I think the same. I mean, it's the 2 preseason games I think are getting switched to regular season now.
Right, just more revenue.
It's just more hockey, which I'm happy with. I enjoy that, and I'm also the kind of guy who will watch every Leafs game of the season. Like, I will sit on my couch for 75 out of the 82 games, and so hey, now I get 3 more games, 2 more games.
Right. No, it's just more money. It's just more revenue, more revenue, more revenue.
Absolutely. And with that, I want to ask, so coming from traditional sports media, do you find it a little bit more difficult to find your ground in like this quick content clipping era of social media?
Yeah, it's different, for sure. I'm somebody who still likes to be a storyteller.
Nice.
And I think that's important. I think that, yes, we live in a TikTok world. Yes, we live in a clicks world. And I think there is also room for 30 for 30s. I think there is still room within the context of a broadcast for real stories about these athletes, about these people, not just stats, not just analytics, not just whatever, not just injury updates, that there is a personal element. Like you look at the leagues that are really like what's the business that's taken off the most in the last 5-6 years in all of sports globally? It's probably F1.
Yeah.
And what is that tied to? Drive to Survive. Because what did that show do? It made the viewer feel that it pulled the curtain back and you got an inside look on what happens behind the scenes. Even though it's sanitized, even though it's a creation of whatever.
Theatric and it's blown up. And
When I was covering the Blue Jays and people would ask me questions about the team on the street, at a bar, on a podcast, it was never, what do you think about the spin rate on Eric Lauer's slider? What do you think of the pitch shape of this upcoming prospect? It's like, yo, what's Bo like? What's Vlad like? What are they like, away from the park?
Outside of the park, yeah.
People want to know about these people as people. And I think that's why the storytelling element really still matters in our whole sports ecosystem.
100% I agree. So, through that, I want to ask, what's the hardest grind that you've had to get a story on air?
I mean, I guess it depends what you mean by that.
I'm just thinking about, one interview where you really had to get your nose to the grindstone, you really had to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going back a long time ago now, man. But my first year working at Sportsnet, I probably the most polarizing figure in all of pro sports at the time was Terrell Owens.
Yeah, T.O.
And T.O. unceremoniously gets released by the Cowboys. Okay. And then, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, signs with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, baby.
So I'm like, man, we got to get T.O. This is during the Bills in Toronto series, time, Rodgers being the parent company, had this thing with Buffalo going on. So we're trying to get T.O. And they're like, okay, go to Washington, D.C. on a Wednesday or Thursday to some museum. He's going to be there for this Alzheimer's fundraising gala event. His grandmother, I think, passed away from Alzheimer's. He'll be there at 2 o'clock. You'll get 20 minutes with him. Go. So 2 o'clock becomes 3, becomes 4, 5 o'clock. T.O. walks in. And when I say he's the most polarizing figure in 2009, he had been the most polarizing figure for 5-6 years running.
Right.
05, your Eagles just said, go away.
Yep.
We'll pay you. Go. We don't want you. He's doing the sit-ups outside. Next question. Drew Rosenhaus, the whole thing. And he walks into this room and he took up the entire doorway. And I was just like, oh my God. And so I had a clipboard with a bunch of questions. He sits down. I look at the questions. I look at him and I just toss the clipboard. He's like, what's that? I'm like, well, those are the questions I prepared. And he's like, well, why are they over there? I'm like, dude, I've had so many questions I've wanted to ask you all these years, and now you're sitting in front of me. And T.O. went off. He said, Jerry Jones lied to me. Stephen Jones lied to me. I was blindsided. There was a fracture in the organization. My receivers coach, I think it was Ray Sherman at the time, didn't even know that I'd been released.
Bomb dropped.
Jerry Jones responds to the stuff T.O.'s saying in our interview. I'm like, wow, So it was great.
I think Jerry Jones still has this kind of demeanor today.
Still the same old Jerry.
Still same old Jerry. Jerry should have fired himself 16 years ago. He's still there.
We're just living in Jerry's world.
Okay, we don't cover the MLB. Salman's not the biggest baseball fan. Michael and I are. I think Michael has a couple of Jays questions for you. Just given the time of year, how they're doing, the hype of October coming around.
Yeah, so we started off the season a little slow, but we've been the hottest team, or one of the hottest teams, call it, like the last 2 or 3 months. Our expectations high, and by high I mean World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, what?
Also,
why not?
As a fringe fan, I feel
Like, other than the Dodgers, why not?
from what I've heard from these guys, it feels like the Jays are, again, like the Leafs, always knocking on the door, always have the roster to do it.
No.
And then I feel like this year has been kind of the Cinderella run, where they're like not...
We've never said that. You're dumb.
Well, they won 74 ball games last year?
Yeah, they sucked.
Something like that.
This is lightning in a bottle. This feels like lightning in a bottle for sure. Think about where their offenses come from. A lot. Dudes who weren't even on the big league roster at the start of the season.
100%.
A 35-year-old who nobody... you could have made the argument at the start of spring training that George Springer might get DFA'd at the end of it.
Yeah, everyone thought he was getting dealt or released or whatever. Yeah.
And look at the year he's had. I thought the Max Scherzer move was just idiotic. Right? And then the thumb thing, you're like, oh, what'd you think was going to happen, right? And I still don't think they're out of the woods on that yet. But this team figures out ways to win. And sometimes in baseball, just weird things happen. Like, I covered the entire 2019 Washington Nationals October run.
That was a great run.
Late May, they're 12 games below 500, and they come back and win. They just figured things out. Like, it just happens, right? In a business where if you fail 70% of the time, you make $500 million, and if you fail 76% of the time, you make $65,000.
Right.
It's baseball. Are the Jays flawed? Yes. Is every other team in the American League flawed?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I think going back to our previous conversation about how regional things are, people who follow their team always point out their deficiencies and their inadequacies, which is fair, except they don't know where the Mariners, even though they're hot, what their problems are. Mm-hmm. They're not following what's happening with Detroit. Maybe a little bit Yankees just because they're in the division. So, look, would it surprise me if the Jays went to the ALCS or the World Series? No, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Would it surprise me if the Jays lost in the divisional series because it's a best of 5 and it's baseball and shit happens? Right. So, I'll tell you this. I'm going to post this later this week in advance of the next Gosman start. The one thing about these guys, please tell me they have learned their lessons from 2022 and 2023.
God, I freaking hope so.
Just let
them go.
Let them cook.
Yeah.
Let them cook.
And once they're in trouble,
put the binder away.
yank 'em.
Sometimes
the Excel
the analytics needs to
spreadsheets
fuck
away.
up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go with the eyeball test. If you can't trust Kevin Gosman, then you're in the wrong business. Fuck around and find out. They found out twice. I wonder about them.
Third time through, they order bullshit. Doesn't matter if he's
process, collaboration,
I agree with you. I feel like that kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier. Stats and injury updates, all that stuff is cool. But sometimes, like, guys just get hot. Everything's clicking, like you said, like the run with the Nationals. Guys are just doing things right, and it just keeps going. Like when they pulled Barrios way too early, they got in a huge jam. What were they up? Like 3 runs at that point against Seattle?
No, because they don't think they scored 3 runs.
They were down, but he was rolling.
He was rolling. The game was close. And then they yanked him, and it fell apart.
The difference is, in 23, they couldn't hit. They didn't hit for 162, so why did we think in 163 and 164 they were going to hit? In 2022, there's no need to take Gosman out. You're up 8-1. 2022, to me, was the failure of Ross Atkins at the trade deadline, of Mitch White, Anthony Bass, and who was the Canadian... Zach Pop? Was
Zach
that it?
Pop,
yep.
yeah.
Like, Anthony Bass? Really? Like, Mitch White? Really? And then, like, Bass cost them the game. I mean, and if you think about it, Bass was shit in 2020 for them, but everyone just kind of forgets because it was that weird
bubble year or whatever it was.
Playoff.
Yeah.
It shit for them in the playoff game.
Yeah.
Like in big games. So, I don't know. Like, I every scenario you put in front of me about the Blue Jays in October, I think is plausible.
That makes sense. And baseball is like, it's just like that too, right?
Right.
I think baseball, when it comes to playoffs, is not fluky, because that's not the right word, but things, yeah, exactly. Whether it's like a different champion
But
or
outside
a
of
very
Seattle,
upset.
nobody scares me in the AL. Now, that doesn't mean anything.
I was going to ask. I was going to say, so what are some other teams? Just paint a picture for me who they're going to have to go against.
They would, if the playoffs started today, they'd play the winner of the Red Sox and the Yankees, which would be so cool.
But if the Yankees don't hit home runs, they don't really do
Didn't
anything.
they sweep the Yankees this year? Or is that a mistake?
Well, that doesn't matter.
It's
But
just regular.
They have like the head-to-head
the
winning,
Yankees
but
are just a mess.
yeah.
They're abysmal. And now they did lose Cole, but
Yeah.
Aaron Judge can't throw a ball to a cutoff man.
Right.
They're not the
Well,
same.
and their infielders are mailing ball. Just
Anthony Volpe is the worst
Oh,
shortstop in
man.
baseball.
It's so fun to see. What do they call him? Baby Jeter?
Yeah.
All over Yankees Twitter is my favorite thing to be on right now.
right.
They blow up all over
What happened
themselves.
to Robinson Cano? Isn't he going to be the next Jeter?
Yeah, everyone's the next Jeter.
So we'll jump to a sport that I actually know. As a Vikings fan, we want to ask, how did you get to become a Vikings fan growing up in, you said Nova Scotia? Yeah.
My asshole father. Man. So my parents came over to North America in the late 70s, and the Vikings were always on TV because they got to 4 Super Bowls and lost them all because that's what the Vikings do. So
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Right. Yeah, I remember all those.
It's hard to lose one and to win one.
Yeah. Sorry, please continue.
But you say you were born what year?
96, but
You don't remember.
I'm
any
also
of
a Leaf fan, so I know exactly the bullshit that goes through all of
Right.
it.
But in my lifetime, the Vikes haven't even been to one. Anyway, so my dad, Vikings, in the womb, I became a Vikings fan. I still have this pennant that was over my bed when I was 2 years old.
It was like the Mobile.
It's just the most miserable existence on earth.
I can imagine.
Like, it just is. Like, I'd be a different person if I wasn't a Vikings fan. But I remember walking home from the parade, the Raptors parade in 2019. And, like, I was also, like, I worshipped the Showtime Lakers as a kid. Like, Magic and Kareem, they were my guys, whatever. And so, like, I love basketball. I love seeing the growth of basketball in this country. I think it's amazing compared to what it was. The idea that we now have 2 MVPs is unreal. We have the best basketball player in the world as a Canadian. It's amazing.
He might have the best single season of all time as well. For
Arguably.
Sure. But, like, you know, I was a Lakers fan, so the Raptors were like, okay, Raptors are, you know, for a long time, they were cute and cool and whatever, but, like, anyways, they win this championship, and it was an amazing run, and I was very privileged to cover it, the finals, and so they're like, okay, for the parade, we're going to put you down by the stage. I'm like, okay. They're like, get there for 7:30 in the morning, it'll be well over by noon. Well...
They were even on the bus by noon.
The geniuses thought the Santa Claus parade was the right route, right model to follow. Anyway, it was like 5 or 6 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm walking home. I'm sunstroked. I'm dehydrated. I'm hungry. Like, obviously, I haven't skipped a meal in a long time. And so I call my father, and I'm like, you are just a real asshole. He's like, excuse me? And I'm like, you know, I just left a championship parade. And it was great. It was wonderful. It was like joyous. People were happy. Like, and I don't even care about the Raptors, but it was just awesome. It's like, okay. And I'm like, but you made me a Vikings fan. The Vikings. Like, the worst possible franchise. I'm like, if it wasn't for you growing up in Nova Scotia, I would have been a Patriots fan. We had all the Boston affiliates. Like, I grew up with a 1-15 New England. Like, Drew Bledsoe went to Washington State, where I was born, where you went to grad school. I would have been all in. I would have had 6 of these. But no, you made me a Vikings fan. And, like, I don't know about you guys, but, like, I have this theory. Like, you can change your hair color. You can change your career. You can change your partner. You can change your city. You can change your gender. But you are stuck with your football team.
Thick and thin. 1,000% agree.
It is a terminal illness.
Yep.
I don't even like them anymore, and I'm stuck with them, watching them every week. And then a first-round pick and J.J. McCarthy, his ankle blows up. Game 2. And he might be garbage, he might not. I don't know. But it's the Vikings, so yeah.
That was passionate.
Yeah.
Sorry for you, man. Yeah. Sorry.
Me too. Me too.
I'm actually angry at my father now making us Leaf fans, thinking about your explanation behind that. That makes sense.
So, but the Leaf, like, you're from here.
Fair.
Right? Like,
Fair.
I grew up in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia to Minneapolis may as well be, Truro to MSP is not a thing. So there's only one thing that there was left to do. My sister has a 5-year-old niece. Look at the background of my phone.
Oh, nice. Adorable.
Yeah, we got a 5-year-old who has been infected with the same disease. No. We are passing it on. Jade loves her some Justin Jefferson.
Nice.
She loves her the gritty. I am making sure that she is going to endure the same crap as the rest of us.
I've said it about 7 times in this podcast. I hate being a Leafs fan now. I hate it. I never grew up with hockey. I picked up hockey 6-7 years ago, and these guys forced me to be Leafs fans, and
They didn't force you.
I hate it, and I want to change, and I keep making jokes about changing, but I never will. It sucks. It sucks.
You can't. You're glued to your sports team.
It sucks.
So, do you have, like... I know it's second game with JJ. Game 1 was great. Game 2
Game
last
1
night.
wasn't great.
He looked good in the fourth quarter.
He played 4 quarters, yeah.
Game winning drive.
He's had 1 out of 8 good quarters.
So what are your expectations?
No, it's Carson Wentz next week. I don't know.
Is he starting?
Yeah, McCarthy's hurt.
Next week, because of the 2 injuries this week, we went from Joe Burrow and J.J. McCarthy to Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
And that's a primetime game.
Yep.
No.
I think it is.
No, it's 1 o'clock game. Your primetime game is Kansas City versus Russell Wilson and the Giants.
Thursday night.
Thursday night, sure, boys.
Yeah, you get to watch Tua turn the ball over. And...
Oh, goodness.
So, okay, like last year, what happened? Is Kevin O'Connell like an amazing coach? Is the system great? I mean, Addison's great. Hawkinson's great. Aaron Jones is great. Jettis is arguably the best receiver in the league.
Is the best receiver.
Is Darnold the product of that? Is Darnold really good? Was it Kevin O'Connell? Like, what is it? What made them win? What was it, 14 games last year?
14 games last year,
That's
yeah.
5 seed.
Yo, man, Sam, I always hold a special place for Sam Darnold because, like, Kirk Cousins, like, shoot him out of a cannon into the sky and have him explode in a million pieces. And Sam Darnold gave me back some joy, and Sam Darnold gave me back some hope. Sam Darnold made throws, etc. And, like, I like O'Connell, I guess. But, like, to me, we saw O'Connell's true colors in that Detroit game. He just wanted to be the smartest guy in the room. You have 4 trips inside the 10-yard line. You come away with 3 points. Fuck off. Right? Like, the division's on the line. The 1 seed's going. Run the football.
Yep.
Okay, Kevin? Like, no, this is not your resume game. No, it's like,
It's
I'm
a
not
legacy
even being
game.
funny. I'm being dead serious.
You are right.
Like, it was, and then the next week, just, Rams defense just ate us apart, so.
Yeah. I wish I had an explanation for you, man.
I wish I had Josh Allen, Don't we all? But we all can't have nice things.
We all can't have nice things, but we.
But I would rather J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz and Sam Darnold than Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely.
We went from 4 touchdowns to 110 yards, a pick, and a touchdown.
Did you like how the passive-aggressive bullshit started when he threw the pick in the end zone? 'Cause it's never Aaron's fault, right?
No,
it wasn't a poorly thrown ball, and Calvin Austin almost made a really nice catch of that.
You probably hate Aaron Rodgers as a Vikings fan. I've always loved him as a player, not as a person, but I always thought he was a great player. When they signed him, he's 40 years old. He's coming off a season.
1 career Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, and, it's probably just to put some butts in some seats. The Steelers are stuck in mediocrity land.
Yeah.
And now it's, like you said, it's never the receiver's fault. It's never Aaron's fault. It's always the receiver's fault.
But that's the way it is everywhere he goes. And I know it was never confirmed, but I'm still a firm believer that he had a part for Robert Sala's firing.
100%
And
he
if
did.
he does that to Mike Tomlin, the guy who's been through thick
No,
and thin,
but he's not. he's not winning that power battle.
You don't think so?
No. God.
No, Tomlin's been there for 17
That's
years.
what I'm saying, man. If somehow Rodgers can manipulate this off or the offense.
But
Tomlin's the guy.
Cam Hayward will kick the shit out of him.
Also, Mike Tomlin walks in the room, his dick's been there for 5 minutes. Like he's that guy in Pittsburgh, you know? Like
yeah, 100%. He's the one coach I think in any team. I think in most teams when shit goes down the drain, you blame the coach. He's the one guy that really can't.
And that franchise has had 3 head coaches since the 60s.
Yep.
Yeah,
the last 60 years.
Been there for 12 years?
More.
17.
Yeah. Wow.
This is, I guess, 18 now because this is year 18. I also got to ask.
By the way, the Vikes had Mike Tomlin's defensive coordinator. They chose Brad Childress instead of Mike T to be the head coach. How'd that work out for us, boys? Brad Childress.
Worked out great for us.
Brad Childress.
I feel like
the Vikings would have ruined Mike Tomlin anyways.
Yeah. Ruined everybody else, so wasted people's careers.
I feel like divisions in football with the North, the rivalries are the most heated. So I hate Baltimore the most. As a Vikings fan, who do you hate the most?
Oh, the inbreds in Green Bay.
Yeah?
In Wisconsin.
For
The
sure,
state of Wisconsin.
Now that you have...
we would try... when I was covering the Jays, often, whenever they play the Brewers, it'd be right after a White Sox series. And often, for some reason, there'd always be an off day. 3 or 4 games in the South Side, and then you go to that, inbred state. And, we would drive, because it was a 2.5 hour drive. And, I would, physically, get angry. Yeah. And Shai would be like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like,
Look where we are.
Look where we are!
He does the Superman peek. It's the purple and gold. And just closes it back up.
So, this is probably a horrible question. It's very insensitive to ask, but how does it feel having Micah Parsons in the division now?
Yeah.
It's insensitive to ask.
Yeah.
He's starting to settle in. It's kind of cool.
He looks great. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
As Eagles fan, I never wanted to see
today,
him
it's
resign.
week 2. Who it doesn't
for
matter.
sure.
But they're the best team in football today.
Yeah. I think they have the best odds to Vegas to win the Super Bowl.
Do they?
It's either them or the Bills. I think they might be second behind the
and
Bills.
talk about you hate the Vikings. Go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, who is very solid and has a good resume over the last few years. From Case Keenum to Darnold to
Joe Webb.
Sam Bradford.
Jackson gave up a 1 and a 4 for Sam Bradford, don't forget.
Sam Bradford, and they had a priest bless his
Christian
knees.
Ponder, first round pick invested in Christian Ponder. Remember that?
So many franchises are spoiled by the riches for
what's
50
funny?
years.
By the way, Christian Ponder's wife, a broadcaster. I didn't know this, and I went. There was a segment on NFL Countdown. Someone was like, "Yeah, I gotta go check it out." So I went to her Twitter to try and check it out. I've been blocked by Samantha Ponder, probably because of the things I said about her husband back when he played in Minnesota.
I would imagine so. She
I
probably
would
searched his
imagine
name,
that would be
Arash
the
Madani
case.
pops
Yeah.
up, block.
Boom, block.
That's probably what happened.
Well, I think one thing we maybe all can cheer about, I think the Chief Dynasty might be coming to an end. The last
I don't know.
The last time Andy Reid started a season 0-2, he didn't make the playoffs.
It's hard to come back from 0-2, but
What are you talking about?
it is. You got because you're.
17-game season.
I know, but you're playing.
That division's
you're playing from
Everybody
behind.
gets into the playoffs.
That
now.
division got better, though. I think the Chargers got a lot better. The Raiders got
They're better. They got better.
They get a lot better. And Houston's in that division, correct?
No,
Denver.
Denver. Denver, I mean, their defense is always Denver defense. Bo Nix is kind of settling in a little
You're
bit.
trying to convince yourself. Casey's gonna be fine, man.
I'm just tired of seeing Patrick Mahomes eat
They're
everyone
gonna
else's
get
food.
they're gonna get Rice back. They're gonna get Worthy back. If they can block a little bit, they'll be fine.
Stop saying that.
I hate that.
But their issue is they don't have much of a pass rush anymore.
No.
And that to me is the bigger.
Well, Chris Jones doesn't look like Chris Jones.
But it's not that the dynasty's over. They've played a lot of football.
They have.
And some teams will just shut down some of their guys the third week of December. These guys are going in the middle of February, year after year. Then you need
That's
a
fair.
surgery. Then you need a recovery. There's no recovery for these guys.
That's true.
That's fair.
And Kelsey will be better.
I don't know.
I actually think he might be gearing up for this
He's just ready to be a house husband at this point.
House husband.
But, like, you know, a 14-point swing in yesterday's game. He catches the ball. Kansas City might win that game. It's
Absolutely.
That, right? And now Vans and Butts
screaming.
or candies and nuts, what a Merry Christmas it would be. But, like it's a game of making plays. And every game comes down to 5 plays. Kelsey didn't make 2 plays yesterday. Might probably cost him the game.
That's actually a great quote. I'm going to remember that. Every game comes down to 5 plays.
It does.
Yeah, I'm even thinking because the Cowboys battled last week. Same thing. There was three or four drops from CeeDee Lamb.
4
drops from CeeDee Lamb. I don't count the one when he dove. I don't count that as a drop. We had this conversation last week.
That was a great ball.
It was a little outside. I think if the receiver has to dive for it, I get it. He's the guy. He's getting paid to do that. But for the receiver to actually have to move out of his way to dive to catch that ball, especially a vertical spiral ball, which is a beautiful ball, it's hard to bring in. It's hard to grab.
Your team lost yesterday on 3 plays.
Yeah, Caleb Johnson really pissed me off.
Sure. But, like, you know, your team, not to bring up wounds, in the AFC title game.
Which one?
Well, last one.
How about 13 seconds?
I mean, that was a divisional playoff, not a conference title game.
Same though. That was the road. That was the win you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Football is a game of literal inches. Like, it's 5 plays. Like, that's, you know, how many plays are run in a game? Hundreds.
Yeah.
I remember the first Super Bowl I covered was Green Bay, Pittsburgh in Dallas. And afterwards, being in the Packers locker room and Ted Thompson standing there, their GM, and he's holding on to the trophy. And, like, he's just like, it's just relief. Like, there was not even, like, he's like, it's not joy, man, it's just relief.
Finally.
That's sports. That's pro sports, but it's definitely pro football.
100%.
Yeah.
I'd love to ask, have you ever been on the field in a really high emotion game like we saw with the Bears and Lions this week? And so it felt like Dan Campbell kind of had a pissing match with Ben Johnson this week. He really just wanted to show out and be like, hey, we don't need you, and we're going to run through this Bears defense. And so have you ever been witness to one of those really high-octane games?
Yeah.
Probably many.
A few. Yeah.
Quite a few.
So, a few come to mind. I was right behind the net in Milan. Italy was playing Sweden in a World Cup qualifier in 2017, soccer. They had to win by 2 goals, or they'd missed the World Cup for the first time in 60 years, and the place was going nuts before the game, and just, like, the volume just went down. So, like, that was one. Special shelf of an event I covered was World Cup qualifier soccer, Canada versus Honduras in San Pedro Sula, Honduras, murder capital of the world per capita at the time. Barbed wire all around the stadium, riot police walking the track of the stadium. Fans are throwing bags of piss onto the Canadian players. We lost 8-1.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Needed a draw or a win, and they just drew them at BMO like 4 days prior, 0-0. Lost 8-1. But the other moment, like, field side that I'll never... Like, I was me to the top of the stairs away from Malcolm Butler making the play, and I didn't see it. Because, like, I'm on my tiptoes about 10 yards from the sideline by the pylon. So when you're straight on, on a football field, I'm like, all right, so it's 2nd down. They got 2 timeouts. They're obviously going to run the football here, right? So, like, I'm
You'd think, right?
yeah, and I'm very confused. I'm like, Marshawn doesn't have the ball. And then the crowd just explodes, and I look up to my right, the Jumbotron in Arizona, and all these Patriots players are, like, jumping up and down. I'm like, oh my God, they threw the ball. And right, and, like, I have no problem with them throwing the ball. I have a problem with them throwing a slant.
Yeah.
Why not roll Russ out, option to throw it out of bounds? Roll Russ out, and maybe he can take off with it. Throw it to the back of the... Like, so much could have gone wrong. The ball could have got deflected, whatever. But that was a, like... everything on the line, high pressure environment. That was a crazy one.
That's
too.
a crazy one. That's sports history to be there for, man.
But the Honduras one, nothing will top that.
I was gonna say
That would have been
That's crazy.
Scared for your life.
Literally.
I mean, as an athlete, if I was getting bags of piss thrown on me, I don't think I'd be very concerned.
I
I
probably
gotta get into like a 20-minute detail. I think I kind of had a little bit of PTSD when I got back from that whole thing. It was quite a time.
It's a huge culture shock, right?
Oh yeah.
How do you feel with the Cowboys? I know you said earlier they're the Leafs.
Don't care.
Don't care?
Don't care.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Is this the year that Derrick Henry, we finally see Derrick Henry regression?
No, we watched week 1.
No.
This is 2 fumbles. The fumble
Wait,
week 1 was
He's
Next.
huge. And
a regression for Derrick Henry is 1,500 yards, which is still a fantastic year.
Talk to the Steeler fan about Derrick Henry's regression.
is
You know what's great, though, by the way? All these GMs and all these geniuses running pro football teams who, like full-on collusion at the running back position, Saquon and Derrick Henry just saying this to them.
Yeah. It was a crazy situation. I mean, even to see like the I think it was Hard Knocks for the Giants with all those the GM cameras.
It was beautiful to just see these idiots exposed.
Agreed.
Right?
100%. You got to see like you said, pull the curtain
And people
back.
are like, and people are like, oh, the Giants wrong. I'm like, yeah, most front offices, this is just because they're in charge of multi-billion-dollar enterprises doesn't mean they're intelligent.
On the other side of it, are we going to say that maybe the Giants are turning a coin this year with Russ? He's serviceable.
0-2.
But they put the Cowboys on their heels. If it wasn't for a late kick, it wasn't for them having like one of the greatest field goal kickers of all time.
The Giants are going to giant. I mean, Russ threw a pick in overtime.
Russ threw a pick in over. I mean, that's what Russ does, move balls.
The Giants aren't turning around anything as long as Russell Wilson's their quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, their defense is probably
Their
the
front
best
is
front four.
incredible.
Yeah. Their defense is unbelievable. Malik
Yeah.
Neighbors is getting force-fed the ball, and he might be up there as a top 3 receiver.
Just let Jackson Dart play at this point.
Yeah.
I agree.
What do you have to lose?
Well, Dayball's coaching for his job. This is why organizations fail.
But also, we've talked about this QB development. Don't throw the rookie in right away. Let him learn from Russ a little bit. Let him take a back seat and see how football's meant to be played. But speaking about the Giants, do we think Daniel Jones, now that with the Colts, is he turning a leaf?
Here's a stat for you. You know what the Indianapolis Colts through 2 weeks haven't done?
Punt.
Punt.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
First team ever to do that, no?
Yeah, and then, 10... They had 7 straight possessions where they scored in week 1. 3 straight possessions where they scored in week 2.
Are they good? I don't know if they're
Shane
good.
Steichen is a great offensive mind. He did great with Jalen Hurts when we had him in Philly. And we saw that a little bit with Era, but it kind of just didn't fully...
They lost 2 interior offensive linemen, too. That surprised me. I'm like, man.
I will also say, I have the feeling that Jonathan Taylor's going to be this year's Saquon. 2 games of last week, yesterday, he got 210 all-purpose yards.
He's good, man.
No one's going to be Saquon.
No.
No one's going to be Saquon. No one's going to be Derrick Henry.
I love Derrick.
And that's probably what we said when Derek Dicker broke the record. I mean, then we got Saquon.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to see all these new dynamics, all these new QBs in different situations, how things are turning. Everyone had Daniel Jones written off. He was done. The Vikings signed him, last year?
Practice roster.
Yeah. He got cut by the Giants.
Sometimes all you really need is just a change of scenery.
Yeah.
And
No, but also,
New York is toxic.
not just that. Brady talked about this on Colin Cowherd the other day. Everyone just blames the quarterback. No one blames the development system. Nobody blames the quarterback's coach. Nobody blames the offensive coordinator. Nobody blames the head coach. What are they learning? Brady talked about when he was in his first or second year, the quarterback coach dropped dead in training camp. Well, what happened? Belichick comes in and spends more time in the quarterback room and starts teaching Brady about defense. I think it was Kurt Warner who got on Twitter after seeing this clip. He's like, my entire career, no coach ever taught me about defense. Everybody just wants to throw the baby out with the bathwater. These genius front office people who miss picks, well, what about them? Well, maybe the player's okay, and your process and collaboration and all the other buzzwords that they use just doesn't work because you don't know what you're doing. So, also, this is not Folgers. This is not instant coffee. People just don't come in and do it. So, look at Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
That's another great one.
He's in a good situation. He's figured things out. It's working for him. Look at Sam Darnold. It's working for him. Sometimes the environment that they're in, the situation that they're in, is hopeless for their development. But nobody points at that as a factor, and I think that's really something important.
I agree.
Think about.
Like I said earlier, we always talk about the QB development. I mean,
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts out behind Carson Wentz. Josh Allen's out behind.
No, Nathan Peterman. He didn't really. But he also had a year and a half of not being very good.
Yeah.
Fair.
He was just
With no expectations.
No
yeah.
expectation. Yeah.
Which is also another thing too, like playing in a market like New York to be like to say Russ versus Jackson Dart, or playing in a market like Buffalo, expectations are always sky high in NFL worlds, but I think New York gets more of a lens than Buffalo would.
Totally.
So that's why.
But also because Buffalo hadn't done anything forever.
That's also true.
Right?
They've done nothing. They traded up to get EJ Manuel, who
Right.
was
And prior to
fucking-
that, Trent Edwards. And prior to that, JP Losman. So it's just like, all right, add another one to the list. And now look what's happened.
Yeah, just bring me back Fitzmagic at this point and just let him do the Jameis Winston 30 and 30 season and
5K yards.
Yeah.
At least throw a ton. You also mentioned, I was actually at the National Bank Open this year. You've done a lot of cool stuff in tennis in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, walk me through some of that stuff. I mean, the Canadian tennis scene right now, I think, with Mboko, is that her name?
Yeah, Victoria Mboko.
Winning the women's side.
Mm-hmm.
And then Shea lost in the semis. Shea, oh my God. I was thinking about basketball. Felix lost in the semis
the US
at
Open,
the US
yeah.
Open. Like, I don't know. Give us some tennis love. Why not?
2019, Bianca winning the U.S. Open, like
Genie before that, Milos before that.
yeah, like to me, Milos Raonic just like changed everything in the narrative of what tennis expectations are in this country. Period. You know, Australian Open semifinal, Wimbledon final, Bouchard that 1 year getting semifinals in Melbourne, semifinals Roland Garros. Finals of Wimbledon. Canada wins the Davis Cup World Championship in 22. The Billie Jean King Cup on the women's side World Championship in 23. It's amazing how far the sport has kind of come. I tell you this. Like, I've been very lucky to get to the All England Club twice. The first time was at London 2012 Olympics. The next time was when the year Bouchard got to the final and Raonic got to the semis, played in Federer. There are two places on earth that every person on the grounds is having the best day of their life. It's if you go to Augusta National, I was lucky enough to cover 2 Masters, and if you go to the All England Club during the championships at Wimbledon, every single person there they are checking off a bucket list item of their life.
Yeah.
I remember just seeing these 2 people sitting on a park bench at Wimbledon, just like looking around like, oh my God, have I died? Because heaven can't be this great. You know, like at Augusta National, during the tournament, you can't take a camera onto the course. You can't take a phone onto the course. So like, people are engaged and locked in, and like it's different. They're 2 different places. So if you ever get a chance, whether you like tennis or not, get to Wimbledon. If you like tennis or not, get to a night session at the U.S. Open under the lights in New York. It is a special, neat, electric atmosphere. It's really cool.
I'll say I've pretty much never watched a tennis game until my uncle gave me tickets to, I think it was a National Bank Open, if I'm not mistaken. It was at York University a few years ago.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's really cool.
It's cool,
They're
man.
just so
It's really
athletic, and it's
cool.
really just underappreciated.
The
as a
grounds
sport.
are cool. You can go watch them hit, practice.
Absolutely.
You're like, you're a human being and I'm a human being, huh? Right.
They just see the guy put the racket through his legs to return the ball back. It's like, no, we're different kinds of humans.
Are you a tennis guy?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't follow it as much as I follow the Big Four and golf. I watch a lot of golf.
Right.
But yeah, no, I watch like the Grand Slams, and I go to the National Bank or whatever it was called before. Now is National Bank Open every year. I've seen you there a ton.
Yeah.
I'm your neighbor. I'm basically your stalker at this point.
Right.
Given all the Instagram DMs, and now we live in the same neighborhood 6 blocks apart. But yeah, tennis is a beautiful sport. Like the athleticism is if you're not a tennis fan, extremely underappreciated. The speed and pace at which they play it. These guys are serving, 150 miles an hour, 150 kilometers an hour.
It does damage to your body, man.
Oh my God, the sliding, your ankles, your knees, your joints, your back.
Shoulders swinging like
Yeah.
it's bad.
These dudes do an hour and a half a day recovery every day.
And matches can go multiple 2, 3, 4 hour matches.
Yeah.
Like, think about that.
It's always on
In
goal
the
mode.
heat, in the summer, it doesn't matter
They're
if it's
playing every
night.
other day.
Every other day for tournaments can go, 2, 3 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks.
I often say the thing I look for in my sport is speed, goals, and hits. Tennis has 2 of those at a pretty much bigger velocity than any other sport. I don't think there's a sport that's faster than tennis. Maybe hockey. Probably not. Like,
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know if a puck is ever going 150 kilometers an hour or whatever it is in tennis.
Probably not.
220, 230.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the men's side, they get up there with the mid 200s.
The hockey puck,
Yeah.
even Zdeno Chara's not slap shotting the puck that hard.
It's crazy. It really is.
What year's that bat from? The Blue Jays bat?
I think 92. This was
Nice.
my
94.
father's.
94.
94.
94.
You can get that down.
Michael, you want to flip that real quick?
Alright, so 1994 Blue Jays. We got a Mike Timlin. We got a Todd Stottlemyre. Aren't autographs like impossible to figure out?
Yeah.
Unless you know the number specifically
Galen
from the year.
Cisco.
It's all chicken scratch.
You got another
Woody Williams.
abbreviations. Their initials.
Yeah, that too.
You know their initials, first and last letter of their name.
That's it, right?
Right. And remember the era, Pat Henkin. Yeah. Good times.
Arash is praising my bat on the
There you go.
podcast.
Who, quickly, is Edwin the next J for the level of excellence, you think?
Yeah, probably.
That makes the most sense.
That makes the most
I'd
sense.
imagine so. Is Bo's... I just got to pick your brain. Bo, is he staying? Yeah, I know he's getting a second opinion on his knee, so he might not even play.
Yeah.
But do you think he's going to re-sign?
I don't.
No.
No way.
What's his market value? 250, 300?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's going to have 200 hits and hit over 300 again with about
As long
100
as it's not a
RBIs.
serious knee. But even so,
I think
you know what you're getting.
Yeah, like I mean, we saw with Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, a different sport, but Aiden Hutchinson blew his ACL and came back and got a
Yeah.
record market reset deal.
I got one more for you. 'Cause I remember I would come home from work or school every day and watch Bob McCown. I love me and my dad. I mean, my
Primetime.
brothers and I loved Primetime. We loved Bob McCown.
The best.
I mean, I do love Overdrive, but my favorite Primetime slot was Primetime.
Yeah.
Do you?
Prime time was before over like
Yeah,
prime
before
time.
it walked so Overdrive could run.
Yeah.
And I know you've been on Primetime a handful of stories or a handful of times.
Oh, more than that. Shoot, a handful of years.
Yeah, a handful of years. One, I know Bob had some health stuff going on. Do you still keep in touch with him? And two, do you have any cool stories about Bob McCown and kind of that time in your career?
Bob, what you saw with Bob on air is what you got.
Do you
with
know
Bob
Primetime?
off air?
Bob McCown was the coolest dude with the shades in the
Oh, of course.
studio.
He was so raw.
He was a fucking rock star in the
him.
Yeah.
studio. Sorry, please continue.
And it was a blast. I remember, like, Babcock gets hired, Babcock's in the studio. I remember Masai coming through studio, Lennox Lewis coming through studio, Fred Van Vliet coming through studio. Like, Bob had cachet. Like, that was the sport. He interviewed Tom Brady on, like, any... If you were a fucking anybody, Bob McCown interviewed you.
He was the man.
Yeah.
Was the man.
He was
For a
the
long
man.
time. 20 plus years, 25 plus years.
He owned radio in the city.
Yeah.
He owned it.
Owned the sports conversation in the
Yeah.
city.
Oh, yeah.
And real talk radio, real opinion. None of this promoting our property, blah, blah, blah.
He was almost unfiltered to the furthest extent he could be on 590, right? Even maybe not, just completely unfiltered.
Yeah.
He was the best.
Yeah.
He was the best.
And that is what consumers, customers, viewers, listeners want. They don't want sanitized. They don't want people being afraid to speak.
Agreed.
And I fear for not just where the business is going, where the business is right now in a lot of ways.
I absolutely agree, man. It's, I mean, Michael told me about this like a week ago. Adam Silver was talking about the NBA should be free content. It should be watched through, the average viewer should watch it through clips on social media.
Yeah, he's like, we're not going to get, people can't get behind our paid walls. They're going to watch highlights on YouTube. It's like, don't you want people to consume your content?
You want people to be invested in the story, be invested in like a
But they're
LeBron
not.
Steph last run kind of thing.
But they're not.
But I think that's where the NBA might be falling short, is not pushing those stories.
No, wrong. We're not the public.
Fair.
Okay? The Blue Jay game tonight, pennant race, division opponent, everything on the line, scoreboard watching, whatever, will do about 1 million viewers, which is a big number.
Mm-hmm.
Big number. Context, tonight's Monday Jays-Rays game will do a bigger number than any midweek Leaf game all season.
For sure.
Okay? That means 39 million Canadians are not watching it. We're just caught up in our own little world.
Yeah.
So, nobody cares about Steph's last... Why'd we care about The Last Dance? Because it came out during COVID when there was nothing else going on. It felt like it was live sports. There was a nostalgia feeling. We all knew MJ. For you guys, probably more legend than whatever. How many games of LeBron's last run are you going to watch as a consumer?
Well, I'll say I recently was lucky enough to travel to Los Angeles for the first time.
Yeah.
And Michael was with me. We made it a point to see LeBron.
Cool,
This
that's
is
one
chance.
Okay, that's one.
At home, I'll watch, I think, every Christmas
games.
game.
Okay, that's
Christmas
two.
game, every year I'm watching LeBron.
Playoff run.
We'll say less
Playoff
than
run.
5 in the regular season.
Okay,
That's fair.
so if you're part of the 1 million and you're willing to watch 5 out of 82, they told me there'd be no math. What is that? Around 6%?
Yeah, give or take.
For sure.
Maybe Adam Silver's onto something.
Well, I will say...
I'm guessing his thoughts are a lot more data-driven than you'd think.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. He's got all
It's
the
just weird to
evidence
hear,
behind it.
maybe, I guess, the reality behind it.
People don't watch live sports in their entirety unless it's a big event. And you can't forget the NFL, but unless it's a big event.
Yeah, and like you said, that
Or
is
it's
an
their
outlier.
team.
Or it's their team, kind of. But even the NFL, they're like, who yesterday watched Colts Broncos? Who yesterday watched Rams Titans? Who yesterday watched Bengals Jaguars? Just fans of those teams, or degenerate gamblers, or fantasy followers,
I was
right?
going to say, I was watching the Colts
You're
game just to be in for fantasy.
Right, you're watching national games, big time games. I think that's how I believe that there are a lot of sports consumers out there who aren't watching full games unless it's a massive game.
That's fair. Arash, man, thank you so much for
Yeah,
imparting so much wisdom on
Thank
us
you,
sweaty
sir.
idiots.
there you go. Good to see you, boys.
Thanks for
the invite.
Take the opportunity to tell people again where they could find you on all socials and what
Yeah.
you're working on right now, what they can look out for.
On X at Arash Madani, on IG Arash Madani _, and I'll be doing weekly NFL show Flutie versus Stiegel, powered by Bodog. You can catch that on YouTube, on Spotify, and I'll be doing some Jays and MLB content powered by Bodog on my socials. So looking forward to seeing where the next 6 weeks goes with the baseball.
It's going to be a great 6 weeks, man.
It'll be a great 6 weeks. A lot of fun.
We will be watching. Thank you so much for coming out. And to everyone watching, stay sweaty.
Stay sweaty.